So here, I haven't seen this yet, but here you have the district actually spent more money. So the district they're having to allocate resources towards dealing with the disruption. But on top of that, this district, they have to hire an investigation, a third party to look into this teacher's social media activity. And you're going to find out why in just a minute. Let's listen here.
Top story this morning, Barrington teacher under investigation following comments posted to social media about the death of conservative activist Charlie Kirk.
And last night, school leaders held a meeting where dozens of students, parents, and teachers voiced their opinions. Let's bring in Joe Cortez for a recap of that meeting. Joe?
Kristen Patrick, good morning. The teacher who has not been...
Now, here's the thing. The way that I'm hearing this is that was... I don't think that was a normal meeting that was called. Typically, you don't have school board meetings on a Monday. I think that this caused so much of a stir in this community that they said, okay, parents will give you the opportunity to come to a meeting and let your voice be heard.
Identified was placed on leave after posting a video saying he had no sympathy for Charlie Kirk, who was shot and killed on a college campus in Utah last week. Now, there was a lot of developments last night during this meeting. The Barrington School Committee voted to bring in an independent investigator. The teacher was a co-president of the Teachers Union in Barrington.
There you go, right there. That's why. Co-president of the teachers union. So now the board, they have to be extra careful in how they do this, because we all know, or the teachers should know, that the district doesn't want them back. And so that's ultimately what's going to happen after this investigation. So now the district, they have to make sure they do this carefully. They do it the right way. We got an independent investigator to come in, but the independent investigator, they're not going to do the investigation for free. So that's unfortunate that you're having to allocate monetary resources towards removing this teacher.
But was asked to step aside by union leaders while on leave. District leaders say the move is about fairness and transparency and stressed no decision has been made about the teacher's future.
The teacher will lose their job. That is the decision. We're just inevitably, that's what's going to happen. The teacher is going to lose their job. The teacher is not finishing out the school year. You just can't have that, because the disruptions will not stop.
Over 2 hours of public comment was heard, some demanding the teacher should be fired, while others defending his right to speak out.
If glorifying the assassination of a public figure isn't grounds for termination, then what is?
I'm not saying the teacher's a bad person, but he made a mistake and there should be consequences.
Now, I think, and this is the beautiful thing about the system that we have set up, a system of government, of representation that we have in this country, is that people get, you get a chance to speak, you get a chance to debate, and yeah, you get to see both sides in these meetings. And I'm curious to hear from you. Is there a threshold? Is there a point where you say, okay, what you said about Mr. Kirk, that's not, you're not quite hitting the mark in terms of the character that we want you to have, because you're a leader in our district, and you have a classroom full of kids who are looking up to you, and the parents and the community members are also watching you, and they have high standards as well. So let's do this little, we're going to put you on leave for a few days, then we'll bring you back, lesson learned, because it was a mistake, versus, oh, that's just so bad, we can't have you here, we don't want you here. I want to hear from you in the comment section. What kind of guidelines do you think are appropriate? Because the interesting thing about this is there's really no right or wrong answer, because ultimately, not everyone is going to be happy with what you decide. But I do believe that there is, I believe that there is a line. There's a separation between, I wish you hadn't have done that. This is why you shouldn't have done that. I need you to go apologize. You're gonna be home for a couple days. We're gonna put this in your file. Let's not have any more of this, and then we're gonna move on. Versus, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did this. We've had like 800 voicemails that we're having to deal with. This is just, you've crossed the line. This is too insensitive. We can't have you. We can't have you in a classroom full of kids. That's just, we can't do that. So I want to hear from you. What do you think? Where do you think that line is? Because I think this is interesting, and it brings up a compelling point. The lady made yes, we do make mistakes, and largely we are a society that gives second chances, and we offer forgiveness, but surely there's a line. So let's hear from this gentleman.
Casts to the community that he is somehow unsafe or unfit, when in reality he was exercising his free speech on his own time.
The microscope that he has been put under is punishment enough.
That's also a compelling argument. The microscope that he has been put under is enough. And that wasn't as his statement, his comment wasn't as, it definitely wasn't as insensitive and bad as some of the other ones. But I mean, that's just not what you, as a teacher, that's not how you want to represent yourself within the community, because that's out there for public consumption. But so that's interesting. I think it's something worth thinking about. So let's finish up here.
12 News did reach out to the state's union, the state's teachers union, that is, and we also reached out to a number believed to be the teachers, but have not heard back. Right now, there is no timeline on a decision.
Okay, so we don't know what's going to happen there, but I think that's an interesting one, because of there's kind of a question. Do you think it may be possible to bring this teacher back after a suspension? He put a letter in their file. They've been disciplined. Possibly bring them back. I think there's a discussion to be had there, and then just the fact that they had to. They dealt with a major disruption of school. Like, there's a reason they called this emergency meeting. And then they had to hire an investigator who wasn't working for free. So I think I think those two things are really compelling about this case. But all in all, this is it. I'm not doing any more recaps of these kinds of stories. There's tons of them out there, and I think they're going to go on for maybe the next week or so. Because people just, again, lack self-control, could not help themselves, and it's a bad look. You're setting a bad example. But yeah, so this is the last one. So I thank you so much for tuning in, and I will catch you in the next update.